So when it comes to issuing standby letters of credit for project financing, we see a lot of fraud in that area. Also fraud in that area as a private equity firm. Most of the clients we see, by the time we've met them, truly, the client says, Taimour, we've gone through 30, sometimes 37, 40, 45 different organizations that have told us that they can issue a letter of credit or they can monetize it, and they're all a bunch of, for lack of a better word, joker brokers. Then they find that we're a private equity firm. They do background checking on us. I don't know of a day, honestly, I don't know of a day that 1,000 background checks on us has not been done. Like seriously, that. So the most constant complaints we hear from clients is just the number of fraud that's out there, and they don't know who to trust. And they're just tired of talking to 30 different organizations, trying to get one person they can trust who can execute. Having said that, let me bridge and switch topics and give you the frauds that we see on our side of the table. So I hear a lot from somebody who says, we want to issue a standby of credit to you for you to monetize so that we can get the funding we need for project financing. What they're not telling you, this is the hidden agenda, is we want you to pay for the instrument and we want us to benefit from it. So now let me tell you what the real costs are, because listen, I run a private equity firm. There's not a day that I don't know what the market is doing, or what a standby of credit or document of credit or bank guarantee or MTN, what the market daily rate is at. So a standby of credit for me, for you or anybody else, costs is between 1% to 1.5% of the face value of the instrument. If there's $100 million, I call my bank, that's the Bank of Montreal, I tell the vice president, I want an SBLC for 100 M. He charges me 1%, maybe 1.5%. He blocks $100 million in my account. He issues the SBLC to whoever I told him to issue the SBLC to. My true cost maximum is 1.5% of the face value of the instrument. So now let's say I want to give you the instrument. I don't work for free. So let's say I know the market rate this week on SBLCs. I'll talk about HSBC London. It's in the low 50s. It's like 51, like that. It could be, it'll go up a little bit, like 52, 53, but it's in the low 50s. I'll tell you, hey, Rebecca, I'll sell you a SBLC for 49. You know that your cost is 49. I haven't issued it yet to you, but you know that. What you will do is you're looking for a monetizer. So you'll shop around and you're looking for another guy who's like me, and you say, hey, if you can give me monetize $100 million SBLC and you can charge whatever you want to charge, we get the project financing we're looking for. So now let's say the other guy was me. Let's just say the other guy was me. You want me to monetize it at 70%, 75%, 80%, some ridiculous number. Why would I monetize? Why would I give you 70%, 75% LTV when I know the true cost is 1%? If I don't have $100 million to issue SBLC, I can go to the market and buy an existing instrument at low 50s. I don't understand why I need to give you 75%. You get that? The intermediaries, these people, these intermediaries are looking for something called an exit group. Right? And there's no money for anybody when what they're looking for is the exit group. Because for their formula to work, some guy like me has to come to the table with money to pay for the instrument. Because the guy who can issue it is not going to issue it until he's got 50 million, 49 million coming to him. Otherwise, why would he block $100 million off his account? Why would he do that? The intermediary shopping around, looking for which stupid person they can find who's willing to put 60%, 70%, 80%, whatever they can get, so that they can get free money. And the free money they're looking for is not $5.
It's millions.
It's like 20 million bucks, right? So I don't play that game at all. We're not interested in that at all. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Anybody who's a legitimate monetizer, the words that we use is we'll monetize instrument that has already been issued. If you want to look for any comparison to me, look for people that will claim I will monetize instruments that has already been issued.
Okay, because they said they will issue the instrument as soon as they get an offer.
Right, as soon as they get the offer. That's the key thing, as soon as I get the offer.
Yeah, so they need to know.
What the offer is some version of, they will tell you 70% or 75% or something like that, where it's not, now all of a sudden I paid, let's say they're asking me to pay $75 million to buy an instrument that's $100 million, but the market price is not $75 million, the market price is $55 million or $53 million, $52 million, like that.
Yeah.
So anytime you listen or you hear some kind of we will issue when you find a monetizer, it's usually a hint for fraud is happening here. Or if you don't want to call it fraud, it's some version of what they don't want to tell you, or what they're not saying, or they're not understanding, is the monetizer has to put up their money first.
Right. Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. For you to just understand how that works. Now let me give you the other two that we see a lot of.
Okay.
They will say there's a small administration fee that you need to pay, and you'll receive a full corporate undertaking guarantee, and will refund it if there's no performance done. You just have to pay the small administration fee.
Yeah.
A small administration fee could be $900,000, could be $5 million, whatever it is, a small administration fee, right? And let me tell you, I don't know one banker who will ever agree to sign or look at an agreement that some other party has signed.
No.
And what I'm going to tell you as a fact is that this market, the customers, they're not educated. Most customers who want to learn how to utilize banking instruments, they're not educated, and unfortunately the scam artists are getting much better at the scam, the sophisticated scam. Every day they're fine-tuning their professional scamming skills better and better and better. And then you have a lot of intermediaries who are just trying to make a commission, and they too are not educated.
Yeah.
So the intermediaries get some kind of false information from some kind of a false scammer, and then they start to go to customers and say, yeah, there's no upfront fees. I'm a monetizer. When I tell you I'm a monetizer, we use our own desk to monetize instruments. That MT760, I will never, ever, ever pay for the wiring fees. Why would I pay for the wiring fees? I don't know if the other guy is going to execute. If the customer is not paying for the wiring fees, we have no deal. It's headline topic 1, 2, and 3 of our website. You're paying for the wiring fees.
Yeah.
So anytime you hear somebody saying no wiring fees, I will promise you my second born, because I don't have a second born. No, but seriously, I promise you $5, whatever you want. It's a scam, and or the broker has no idea what the hell they're talking about. The monetizer is always afraid of the customer not being able to execute.
Yeah.
So monetizers don't take bank undertaking DPUs. They don't want their bank to be held accountable for the banking fees. The monetizer is not going to pay for it. The authentic real monetizer will always tell the client, you are paying for the banking fees up front.
Yeah.
Now you'll find 3 types of customers. You'll find the ones that are just cheap and they don't want to pay up front. I'll be walk away from that.
Yeah.
Second is legitimate customer, and unfortunately that person is being frauded. With that one, I have nothing to offer. It's like, if you want to get over your ex-girlfriend, and at some point you want to get over your ex-girlfriend and get yourself a new girlfriend, you have to get over it, right? So I'm sorry you got frauded. The truth is that whoever you want to work with, you have to pay for the wiring fees.
Yeah. Okay.
Like there's nothing else I can do like that. The real monetizers will always tell you that there's an upfront fee for the MT79 or MT760. Then so those are some common ones for sure. Now let me tell you some ways where you can the other thing is then what you will also find is one of the challenges, I'm just giving you the frequently biggest challenges my clients have had. The biggest one, another big one that I have seen is they get an instrument and they can't monetize it. I have written, I think, a 10-page blog on my website on how many billions of dollars every year gets issued in letters of credit that are non-monetizable because the customer doesn't know any better. And the bank issues a letter of credit that's conditional. And the minute you make it conditional and it goes to a third party, no banker that I know of will want to touch it.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of these providers will provide a copy of the SWIFT document with all the answers from the receiving bank. And upon presentation of these documents, they'll say, I know I told you there's no, and the scammers will say they will always start with there's no upfront fee. The bad scammers will start with there's no upfront fees. Then once they give you the documentations, bank-to-bank guarantee and all, then they will say, oh yeah, by the way, now there's a fee.
Right.
And then once you give them the fee, you know what they do? Now the scammers are getting better at, I don't know how to say it, they're getting rude.
Yeah.
20 years ago, the scammer would scam, and then he would disappear and you wouldn't find him. Now the scammer doesn't disappear. He's really rude. He still stays in his office.
And he tells you where you went wrong.
No, and then he makes up stories. He goes, we did issue it, but the monetizer, they'll argue. The receiving bank is not able to receive the instrument, and it's their fault, it's not our fault. And it's like, are you seriously, like, really? And then the customers, like, I feel very bad for the customer because they don't have your banking skills, they don't have my banking skills, they don't know how to hire people like you and me to go, okay, can you be an advisor so I can save hundreds of millions of dollars just on my banking fees? You know what they hear instead? This is what they hear commonly, especially in Africa. Unfortunately, I see this a lot in Africa. The guy will say, you've been pre-approved for, then they'll come up with some number, $64 billion for your project. Now, the guy, if you look at the guy who's looking for money, his resume, I'm not going to say he's a taxi cab driver, but let's just say like that. He's like a taxi cab driver. He's never earned $100,000 in his life.
You telling
and you call him a poor guy like that, and you go, you've been approved for $64 billion. Man, that guy goes, oh my God, my great grandchildren who have not met can retire from this. Then there's all you have to do is find a monetizer to come to the table.
Yeah.
It will issue the SBLC. And I guess now the guy he's not sophisticated. He's going to go into his network, he's going to call, he goes on LinkedIn, he finds 5 different brokers. The brokers are trying to get a commission. So they're like, yeah, I got a client. They call, 50 of them will call me. Usually on a common week, a legitimate customer, I may get their instrument 4 or 8 times from different brokers. One broker will claim that they have access to a monetizer.
Yeah.
But the person who's a monetizer is actually another broker, and they don't know that. I'm telling you, on the receiving side, we get the same instrument 4 times, maybe 8 times from 8 different brokers. I have a client, here's the instrument, let's go. And and this happened to us 2 days ago. We had one client from India. We received their file 4 times. It was like, okay, you think you got the deal? I just want to tell you, I saw it 4 times. If you think you got the deal.
Oh my God, yeah.
So the truth
Okay,
is,
welcome.
so the unfortunate factor of reality is that true monetizer will want you to pay for the MT760 fees. That's the truth. Anybody who tells you you're being pre-approved for $64 billion or $10 trillion or $500 billion, right? And if you don't have a resume, you truly don't have a resume that you've bought infrastructure or you've sold a company, you made $500 million, I promise you no real lender is going to give you $500 million. I don't care. That's also a second version of what this is a fraud going on. And then they'll tell you you have to find a monetizer. Rebecca, anything else before my commonly
last question
monetizing issues?
Is there a case where it's really a genuine SBLC or BD?
Yes.
Like for that guy, if he says yes, now I want to get it issued, then I'll look into.
So what you want to do is when you come across clients that are truly they have an instrument, you want to ask them and say, hey, call me when the instrument's been issued. First thing. Don't give me conditions of I want to issue this to you and all stuff. If you want to play that game, you can. I'm going to tell you 99.9% of them are fraud. And if they come to you and you want to work with line of credit, you have to tell them you have a genuine desk that monetizes it, but they don't act first. Act first is I'm not going to put up my money. No. Anything. We'll monetize instruments that has been issued already. So that's that. What you want to do is ask the client for something called QSIP number or an ISI number. So here's what I'm going to say to you. Imagine you want to buy a car. Your car has something called VIN number. I can take your VIN number, you can take your VIN number and go to your company's manufacturer, and then I'll know the make, model of your car. Does it have AC, 4-drive, 5-drive, like all that stuff, right? Cool. Same thing applies to bank guarantees, MTN notes, SBLCs. Like they all have, I don't want to use the word VIN number. That's not the accurate way of saying it. But just so you understand that, once you understand the concept, banking makes a lot of sense. But you have to understand the concept. If you don't understand the concept, then people get lost. When do I use a CD? What's the difference between SBLC and DLC? So you're looking for a QSIP number, ISI number, and you can ask the client and say, okay, can you also give me a Euroclear or a Bloomsburg report? Euroclear and Bloomsburg are two platforms where I can go in and put in the ISI number and QSIP number, and I can actually see the instrument, and the name of the client must be on Bloomsburg. So I know that this instrument truly is issued to this client. This client is truly the owner of that instrument. So let me say it in a very different way. If I come to you and say, I have a car I want to sell, your question should be, prove to me you have the car. Then prove to me you're the owner of the car. And then in those two documents, you'll also see the value of the car. So same thing. I have a SBLC. Can you monetize it for me? Yes. And Rebecca, just to save yourself some time and not work with fraudsters, say absolutely I can. Give me the instrument that's been issued. Make sure there's an ISI number, QSIP number I can see, and please give it to me whether Euroclear or Bloomsburg report. What you will notice is out of 10,000 people that will call you with that, one of them will come through. And next time you go to church, you say, Lord Jesus Christ, or whoever you pray to, thank you for saving me from the 9,999 other ones. But that's what I do. Every time I thank God, the 9,999 fraudulent people you save me time.
No, thank you. That's great. Oh my God, I have so many notes. Like the page was full, and then I went to another page that almost didn't have any papers, and then went again. So, thank you.
My pleasure. been kind enough to spend some time with me today reviewing some of your client files.
Thank you.
Can you tell my audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what did you get out of our time together?
Yes, my name is Debola and I'm based in the UK. I've been working as a funding solution for clients looking for business funding for projects for my clients. And I met Mr.
And these are big
Zaman.
projects.
Pardon?
And these are big projects.
Yes, they're big projects in the million all over the world from UK to Africa. So I met Mr. Zaman over on the internet while I was searching for more genuine brokers. And I was fortunate to get a meeting with him, which I'm on at the moment. And I've learned a wealth of knowledge. In my last 1 year, I've not had this knowledge of information. And I am more than excited to be on this call with him. I've learned about 2 items I've learned about. I don't know if I should disclose it. Custodian and the hybrid PPI. Those 2, they've blown me out of the waters. And I'm just thinking, am I going to be able to sleep tonight? Thinking of what I'm going to do with those information. It has been amazing. I've learned a tremendous lot.
And you made a promise
in the last 45 minutes.
and you promised you're going to become a millionaire working with our organization. Yes. And join the Millionaire Club.
I'm going to be one of the millionaires. It's settled.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Abba.
Wonderful. Thank you.